and the doctorate degree in electrical engineering from Kassel University, Germany in 1999. Prior to joining the University of Glasgow as a lecturer in 2002, he was a UNESCO postdoctoral fellow at the Technion Israel Institute of Technology, and before that, a lecturer at Moi University in Kenya. He leads research on compound semiconductor, micro, nanoelectronics, and applications with focus on gallium nitride and indium phosphide-based electronics, and has led a number of major projects in these areas. Notable ones include Horizon 2020 projects, IBRO, and Terra Apps, in which he led work on terahertz transceivers. Professor Wasige was the technical program chair of the 2021 European Microwave Integrated Circuits Conference, European Microwave Week, and is currently an associate editor of the International Journal of Microwave and Wireless Technologies. Professor Wasige will deliver a talk on terahertz wireless communications, status and perspectives at our international conference on electronic and photonic integrated circuits, EPIC 2022. Professor Wasige, over to you.
Thank you very much for the warm welcome. I hope you can hear me loud and clear. Can you?
Yes, it's clear.
Okay, so let me try and share my talk.
Yes. Yeah, it's fine.
Just I have a video in this talk, and so I need to be sure that I'll be able to play the video. Just one second. Okay, I think I'll share now. I needed to click something to be sure that that's possible. So if you confirm for me once more that you can see the slides and that you can hear me.
Yes.
Super. So good afternoon, everyone, and thank you very much for organizing this conference and for attending or contributing to the conference. Yeah, my name is Edward Wasige, as been introduced, and I lead a group on high-frequency electronics at the University of Glasgow. Yeah, my talk this morning will be on terahertz, wireless communication, and where we are today and how things may look like in the future. The outline of my talk is as follows. I'll have a couple of slides on why terahertz. Why do we need to worry or consider this frequency band for some applications? It's actually a frequency band, so terahertz happens to be part of the electromagnetic spectrum. I'll reintroduce the electromagnetic spectrum to everyone, so we are all on the same page. Then I'll go through the technology options that we have. In particular, the focus here will be on semiconductor-based technology options. Then much of the talk will focus on what we do in Glasgow. We work on a device called a resonant tunneling diode. In short, it's called an RTD. So I'll talk a bit more about that and show the results that we've achieved using this technology. But before finishing, I'll spell out what the challenges are today, and then finish with the future of what might hold for terahertz technology. So this slide, it's I wonder who made it. It's really nice slide that shows the electromagnetic spectrum. The very low frequencies at around, let's say, 50 gigahertz, we get our power supplies, power distribution for lighting in the home, for industry. It's very low frequencies. At the other extreme, when we are sick, we go to hospital. X-rays are used to image us. And of course, we see in the visible spectrum, we use the spectrum ourselves to be able to see for our vision. In modern cars today, or all cars for a long time, FM radio will be at around 100 megahertz. And the Wi-Fi in the house will be at around 2.4 gigahertz. What we call the terahertz frequency band lies somewhere from around 100 gigahertz to about 10 terahertz. And for lower frequencies, the technologies that we have today, they're basically electronics based. And for higher frequencies, the technologies we have today, they're photonics based. So we have lasers, LEDs. This will they're used at the high frequencies. What terahertz can do is shown here in this slide. One of the early applications of terahertz was in imaging. So terahertz, common materials like clothing or paper is transparent to terahertz. So you can develop terahertz cameras that would take an image. And if someone has a hidden gun or metallic object, this can be seen. This is one of the early applications of terahertz, and it's probably the fastest growing area today, but communications is an even bigger area. This slide just zooms into, just to get the definition right on what terahertz is, and it's a fairly old slide. So for years, up to maybe 10 years ago, this region of the electromagnetic spectrum was called the terahertz gap, because we could do the electronics that work at low frequencies, so up to about 100 gigahertz. We're able to do the electronics easily, and at higher frequencies, beyond about 10 terahertz, we're also able to, we have technologies for that. But for this frequency band, for various reasons, and some of them still persist today, we didn't have technologies that worked in this area, not for common applications anyway. And for that reason, it was called the terahertz gap. So terahertz, the acronym we use is THZ. So in a few slides, you'll see THZ. When you see that, when I say terahertz, yeah, that's the acronym for it. So while with electronics, we've exploited the lower part of the electromagnetic spectrum, and with photonics, the higher part of the electromagnetic spectrum, in between the terahertz frequency range, that is still not yet exploited, and I think that's going to happen over it's happening now. There's a lot of research in this area, as you'll see, and over the next 20 years, I think we'll see many products that employ this frequency band. One of the reasons for young listeners would be, why bother to use this frequency band? So this slide, it's actually an old slide, or just over 10 years ago, but it captures nicely what terahertz could do. So I said Wi-Fi in our homes works at about 2.4 gigahertz, and the data rate you can get with that is in megabits per second. Newer applications that are coming up, and I'll show some of this later on, so in 2011, this would do quite nicely for many applications, and still today, the Wi-Fi links that all of us have today are still at this place. That's well and nice, but you would have seen that over the last few years, each one of us has a mobile phone. So when all of you at the conference are communicating with the rest of the world, the local base station will need to be able to handle not just the data from your single phone, from all the phones that are around the campus. And so we need, for such links, we need data rates reaching at least 10 gigabits per second. And for that reason, the newest communication network, 5G, it's designed to enable, to support at least 10 gigabits per second wireless communications. For us to be able to support higher data rates, the laws of physics tell us that we need to use higher frequencies. We call them carrier frequencies because the information rides on these signals. So the carrier signals. So like 5G, it will work all the way, depending on where you are. You have implementations up to, I think, maximum 40 gigahertz. And then after that, in 8 or so years, we'll have 6G, which might work up to about 100 gigahertz. But when you reach at about 100 gigahertz, then your data rate, the amount of information you can carry on such a signal is quite high. And because of that, you can be able to do much more. So just to reiterate the definition of terahertz again, so this definition has been going up and down depending on whether you're an electronics person or a photonics person. For electronics, any frequencies from about 100 gigahertz and up, especially between 100 gigahertz and 3 terahertz, that is the core domain for electronics, while the photonics will start probably from 2 terahertz and they go up to 10 terahertz in terms of the terahertz frequency band. So the talk today will focus on electronics, which operates just above 100 gigahertz, up to actually 2 to 3 terahertz. And the reason for that is if we have such high frequency signals, in terms of wireless communications, we can get very high data rates. The ultimate goal over the next years is to have wireless links that have high capacity, as high as optical fibers, and that means reaching data rates that are a terabit per second. So the two main technologies that we could use to generate terahertz waves. If we are photonics people, this slide shows how photonics is used to generate terahertz. So you start off with 2 high frequency signals, and then you have what we call a photomixer. So the high frequencies are very high, so we can call them light frequencies. So we use the word photo. And if they get into this mixer, then the mixing process results in a difference frequency and a sum frequency. The difference frequency, normally we choose that to be in the terahertz range. So if we come in with 2 signals and we focus those signals on a photomixer, then the result of that is a terahertz signal. And normally you hear, you see what has been identified as a silicon lens. Normally we need to focus this high frequency energy, and this is doing that job. We have our photomixer there, and the output of this will be a high frequency signal. Some detail to that. The commonest photomixer used is called a UTC-PD. So in full, it's called a unit traveling carrier photodiode. And if you come in with your 2 optical signals, you get the mixing happening there. And so the signal that comes out of this, we can use to establish a wireless link. The other approach to using terahertz for wireless links is based on electronics. And yeah, most of our electronics, when we reach about 100 gigahertz, they run out of steam. But the electronics today can work fairly well up to 300 gigahertz. By the time they work up to 300 gigahertz, these technologies are still quite expensive. Yeah, but this is a traditional transistor-based or electronics-based wireless link. So you have an amplifier. In this particular example, the amplifier works at 300 gigahertz. So at the start of terahertz, or just at the lower edge of terahertz, and you have your mixer, and the receiver. You receive the signal. You have a Lonos amplifier. You have you can download the signal and process it. The way this looks, so you'll have one amplifier at the transmit side, a power amplifier. You'll have a low noise amplifier at the receive side. These are single modules. And this is a picture of a chip called MMICs. Many of you will be familiar with this, which stands for Microwave Monolithic Integrated Circuits. So you have an IC, and this IC, normally it's packaged within a waveguide. So this is a metallic structure that is hollow, and hollow waveguides give us the lowest transmission loss at these high frequencies. Other than that, antennas, horn antennas, which we can make in waveguide technology, they give us the high gain that we need to be able to establish the links. I'll explain this in a little bit more detail with a better slide later on. Yeah, but we need high gain antennas at the high frequencies, and we need low loss transmission lines at the high frequencies. And that's why these chips, so you have your chip, but it's packaged within a metallic structure. Right at the heart of the metallic structure, you have a hollow waveguide through which the signal goes. Of course, then if we amplify the signal on the transmit side, and here we receive the signal, amplify it, and then we can also downmix it to get our received signal. The third, so we have. So this is photonics approach, conventional photonics approach. This is a conventional electronics approach. The electronics approach works well up to around 300 gigahertz. Photonic approach works up to 300 gigahertz, maybe up to 500-600 gigahertz, depending on what you have. But photonics goes all the way to a few terahertz in terms of wireless communications. So, but the bulk of my talk today, I'll discuss in more detail the resonant tunneling diode as a potential terahertz technology. So this is a compound semiconductor. The technology today is based on the indium phosphide material system. The actual heart of the device comprises indium gallium arsenide alloys, which can be grown on a silicon substrate. So this shows the typical structure. What is key about this device? You have a layer of indium gallium arsenide, which is lower band gap, sandwiched between aluminum arsenide on either side, which are higher band gap. And so if you are to look at the conduction profile, it looks like this. And well, that's the physics. I'm not going into the physics any more than that. But as an engineer, what this enables us to do is you have a device which has a current voltage characteristic as shown here. So as the voltage increases, for this range of bias voltages, the current drops. So for lower voltage, it's like most electronic components, if you increase the bias, the current also increases. Then you reach a point where when you increase the bias further, the current starts to drop. This region, we call it, if you were to calculate the slope of this curve, it would be negative. So this region is called the negative differential conductance region or negative differential resistance region. And because we have an effective negative resistance here, we can use this to generate an AC signal. And the dimensions of this device and everything are such that this AC signal can really be high frequency and can lie in the terahertz band. And that's precisely what we do. This is a picture of one of the devices that we've made in Glasgow. It's a chip, a terahertz oscillator using the RTD as the actual device. On the left-hand side, this is actually a chip which is being probed. The probe, those three little legs are a probe which gives bias or the battery connection to the device. And on the right-hand side, we have the probe that takes the RF signal. The feature size of this device is anywhere between 9 microns squared to actually about 25 microns squared. So for this particular high frequency signal, the size of the device on our chip are 16 microns squared. And they give a 300 gigahertz signal. And if you probably make out, but the line width is quite narrow. And so even though it's a free running oscillator, it's a very clean signal. And we can use this signal. So this is a terahertz signal, lower terahertz. Some people call it sub-terahertz. And because we have such a signal, we can use it to establish a communication link. And that's what we do. This is a laboratory setup we have in Glasgow. We have RTD located somewhere there. And those of you familiar with photonics, actually at these frequencies, we use photonics techniques. We have a lens there that helps us focus the signal. Another lens there that focuses it onto our receiver. Our receiver is a Schottky barrier diode on the left-hand side. So with this device, we were able to do error-free transmission at data rates of 12 gigabits per second over this range and over 1 meter for data rates of a gigabit per second. These are called eye diagrams. They tell us the quality of wireless transmission. Why we did this will also become clear quite shortly. So we had a new project called Terapod. And in this project, the main industrial partner was Dell, the computer manufacturer. They build data centers. So the serving, actually, the communication between myself today and you goes via data centers. So data centers are the exchanges where the internet all happens. And one of the problems with this data centers, I'll show in a minute, is that it's quite difficult to have the connectivity today is quite difficult. So we mimicked what happens within a data center, and the goal was to see whether we could establish wireless links. So able to do this. First of all, we tried this out in the lab, and we transmitted 4K video over a 80 centimeter range at 12 gigabits. And this is a video of the setup. This video was taken last year. This is the source computer, and this is the destination computer. And there is our RTD. You might notice the lenses. People who are photonics people will notice the lenses, and here the researcher will just block the link is somewhere there. He'll just block the link, and you'll see that the signal in the end is so this is a 4K video transmitted from the lower screen to the larger screen, and where the light is, we have one of the 300 gigahertz RTDs. It's being probed as shown in the earlier picture, and the signal comes out here in a waveguide antenna in the air through this link. Then we have a Schottky barrier diode there, which receives the signal, and then we see the 4K video. And this link, we did this as part of an EU project to be able to solve a problem in data centers, which I'll show why we need to do that in a minute. Slide shows a summary of, it comes from a book chapter we published a couple of years ago. And about 6 or so groups in the world working on RTDs. So in Glasgow, we are one of the main groups working on RTDs. There are 2 other groups in Japan, at Tokyo Tech and at Osaka University, and the 3 other groups in Europe. And it shows wireless links using RTDs. So we can use the RTD as a transmitter. Actually, the RTD, we can also use it as a receiver. So people actually doing photonics who use UTC PDs as for photonics links. A number of them have used the RTD as a receiver. Most of this work was done at Osaka University in Professor Nagatsuma's group. Many of us, like in Glasgow, we use the RTD as a transmitter, and we use the short barrier diode as a receiver. Colleagues in Tokyo Tech University in Professor Asada's group, the group is now led by Professor Suzuki. They also do the same as we do. What's interesting is that with RTD, we can get very high data rates. So here, this particular reference got up to 44 gigabits per second. The link distance is very modest, to say the least. But one of the things about these links is the format of modulating. So we use very simple modulation, on-off keying or amplitude shift keying. People familiar with communication will know that this very simple modulation schemes are not used in modern communications. That plus and the pros and cons for this. At terahertz, we probably have a chance to do this very easily, and the good technical reasons for that I'll mention before I finish or in a question and answer session. Just continuing with the list of published work on terahertz links, which can be found in this book chapter. Here, we can use the RTD both as a transmitter and as a receiver. And the highest data rate shown in this configuration is 56 gigabits per second. And the aim today is to reach 100 gigabits per second from electronics. 1 or 2 groups have done this with transistors. And with RTD, the link distance is also very, very modest, to say the least. But what these results tell us is that we can have very high data throughputs at terahertz frequencies. For us, so one of the challenges for younger researchers listening to me is, we need to, 7 centimeters is not much. So we need this to be tens of meters, up to 100 meters. What do we need to do that? And there's plenty of research to be done to do that. We know in terms of bandwidth we have, but link distance is suffering, and mainly you can guess it's related to the power that each individual device can emit. And so we all have a responsibility if we want to have good future links, and the many reasons for that. This is an area to do our research in. This slide, has a summary of has technologies today for wireless communications. And what it shows, so starting from CMOS, TMIC stands for terahertz monolithic integrated circuits, silicon germanium ICs, gallium arsenide ICs, indium phosphide ICs. Then we have the UTC PD, which I've mentioned several times on this talk. We have the RTDs, mentioned also several times in this talk. So what does the slide tell us? So on the x-axis, we have the link distance. So 1 meter is there, and that's 100 meters. On the y-axis, the data rates, here we have 10 gigabits per second, so several times higher than what Wi-Fi can do. And here we have 100 gigabits per second. And this is like the holy grail. We want wireless links to be able to do this. And there are really good reasons for that, because we'll be able to enable new applications that make life better for everyone in the world. But what this results tell us that for us to get 100 gigabits per second, link distance is under 1 meter. So this paper was published earlier this year. It's a review paper by one of my research students. Up to today, I don't think the graph has changed much. So for the very high data rates, the link distance is quite low. And when we get very high, so to reach 100 meters range in terms of a wireless link, the data rate is, so the highest data rate there is something like 8 gigabits per second, which is okay. Yeah, but often these very long link distances are achieved by using very high gain antennas. And actually just establishing the link is an issue. So this also in a nutshell shows the challenge we have at terahertz. While we desire to be at 100 gigabits per second, the range over which we're able to do that is quite limited. Ideally, we would like to be in this part of the graph where we have very tens of meters range. Tens of meters will be able to establish links within a building or for your local neighborhood to connect you to the rest of the internet. So we need to be around there to have a good range and high data rate. So we don't have any points there, and so future research should help us fill this part, and that will enable this to. This slide just captures the problem in more detail. So for semiconductor-based terahertz sources, so we are talking terahertz. So in green, terahertz monolithic integrated circuits. So this is your CMOS, your silicon germanium, your indium phosphide, your compound semiconductor electronics, so electronics as we know it. New TCPD, the red points. This one is the photonics-based approach where you have two lasers generated. So you have two high-frequency signals from the mixing in the photodiode. You generate the terahertz wave. And then we have the RTD, which we've been working on in Glasgow. What you can see is that in terms of bandwidth, the RTD, the highest demonstrated RTD frequency today is 2 terahertz. This was by the Tokyo group. And in terms of highest power for the RTD, we have about a milliwatt at 300 gigahertz. This is a result from University of Glasgow. So the best transistors, indium phosphide transistors, give about 20, no more than 30 milliwatts today. So the power from the best transistors you can get your hands on today, probably not commercial, is only a few tens of milliwatts, but this is only just a one-off result. So power is one of the main reasons why more work needs to be done, more research needs to be done, because if we have more power, we can be able to establish longer links. And actually, speaking about that, there's something that we call the link budget. Many of you will be familiar with this. It tells us, for example, if you want your wireless link over a range of only 10 centimeters, how much power do you need? If you have an antenna of gain 12 dBi and a receiver antenna of the same gain, and you have path loss of that. So this is 300 gigahertz. So you need 2 milliwatts just to establish a 10 centimeter link. To establish a 1 meter link, you need 2.5 milliwatts to do that. And the antenna gain has gone up 25 dBi. So here we're already talking horn antennas, or you probably have an array of antennas able to do this. And to reach just 5 meters, we need to double that to 4 milliwatts. And so here the antenna gains is both 25 dBi. So you need high gain with modest powers. Then you just have modest link distances. But actually the goal is to be able to do 100 meters. So how do we do that? And that's the big question in terahertz, to be able to up the power. One of the things we're doing in Glasgow, I already mentioned that in Glasgow, this is the best result we got a few years ago, 1 milliwatt in the 300 gigahertz band from a single device. It's one of the best results in the world. And from a single device, we are hoping to get up to 5 milliwatts in this band. So this IV, current voltage characteristics, is of an RTG, which gave us the 1 milliwatt. And this IVs on the right are measured IVs of devices that we've made recently. Just looking at the negative differential conductance span, comparing that to this, we expect to get higher power. And if you look at our publications as they come out, you'll probably see that we are making progress in that regard. So for single devices, we need to increase the power of a single device, but the future of terahertz lies not only in increasing the power from a single device, but actually connecting them in an array so that we can sum up the power. And just this year, the Canon Group in Japan, Canon, the company who do photocopiers, believe it or not, they have a division who do research on terahertz, and actually based on the RTD technology, they have an array of 6x6 RTD oscillators. Each of the oscillators gives about 300 microwatts, and they demonstrated 10 milliwatts at 450 gigahertz. So using this concept, this is, as far as I'm aware, one of the highest electronics-based output powers at terahertz from a semiconductor device at this frequency. So, but the idea is not only improve each of the single devices as we're trying to do in Glasgow, but to be able to put them in an array. And if we put them in an array, this number, we hope that it gets to a watt level, maybe 100 milliwatts, 500 milliwatts, and then 1 watt over the next 2-3 years. I believe that is a challenge that the community are going to meet. So, so what would the terahertz do? This cartoon shows, this slide shows some of the things that terahertz could help us do. And so you have the wireless link, which is very high speed, and you have the high frequency. What the high speed wireless link gives you is the ability to be able, because you are shuffling information at very high rate, you can enable new applications such as remote surgery. So a surgeon in one city could operate on a patient in a different city because you have this very high speed communication between the two sites. And that enables you to have a picture of the local scene and transmit it to the expert to be able to do that. And so terahertz is useful in doing that. Actually, another autonomous transport is a big area. It's been an area of research, I think, now for at least 10 years. That you order a taxi and it has no driver, but it takes you where you're going, or you jump into your car, you give it the coordinates of where you're going, and it takes you there. For you to be able to do that, the car needs to have the vision of a human, so to say. And just come back to this slide in a second, but I'll show you some results from University of Birmingham, from my colleague Marina Gashinova. This is an optical picture of a road, and these are pictures, terahertz camera imaging the road. And the idea, because at the high frequency you have very fine resolution. The idea is that these pictures, this image is good enough for the car to identify where the road is, where the edges are, and for it actually to drive autonomously. So but this is a lot of data. So when you take a radar sensor, it's taking the image of the road in front. That's a lot of data. You need to shuffle this data at very high data rate, at very high speed into a computer. This computer could be on the side of the road. or could be within the car. All this requires very high-speed wireless links, and it requires the high-resolution imaging that is possible at terahertz. So wireless goes together with intelligence. So you not only have wireless links which enable very high-speed communication, but you also have intelligence associated with that. So you can use radar sensors to image the scene, and also terahertz actually not only does imaging and communication, but it can also do sensing. So we can enable things like autonomous transport, like remote surgery, or like digital twins, telepresence, where you actually projected you are elsewhere, but it's because of the high-speed connection and the local high accuracy imaging plus the high-speed links. You are able to have a virtual twin elsewhere. So that's a picture of a doctor working remotely, but this is only possible if we have very high-speed links and very high accurate local imaging. This picture is, I mentioned data centers and our EU project Terrapod. This is a picture of a data center. If you go to a data center today, I believe at your university, you should have a data center there. The cabling looks like this. You have lots of copper cables and optical fibers. And if something, if you have to change one or two things, it's probably a nightmare. And the future of this is that if they're wireless, they might be easier to reconfigure. The actual two reasons for wanting to improve on data centers today is because the current setups, reconfigurability is not so easy. If there's something wrong and you need to figure it out, yeah, so it works, but it's fragile in that sense. Another thing, a typical data center will consume as much energy as a local town of 300,000 to 400,000 people. So the data centers use a lot of power, and wireless terahertz wireless links could cut this by a factor of 1 or 2. And so that's another major reason. So energy, net zero aspirations across the world, UN sustainable goals for development. We need all to care about how much energy we are using for the sake of our planet. And terahertz could help data centers and other places where wireless links could replace the traditional links. So this slide just shows potential areas of wireless applications. So wireless transmission and sensing. Sensing can do air quality, positioning, imaging, and communication, of course, is the main thing. And it's from this paper, if you're interested, gives really good summary of what happens. So to finish, just like to thank this work. It's not just me who did it. Of course, I have a team of people who've worked very hard. In particular, I'd like to thank Dr. Swagat Samantha, one of the colleagues there at SRM, who was a visiting researcher in Glasgow during the COVID time. Unfortunately for her, she contributed to art and technology. And I'd also like to thank the many funding agencies that have supported our work. So thank you very much. And I think we have time for a few questions in case there are any. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Wasige, for a very interesting talk. We will now take a few questions from the audience. Mike?
It doesn't. Yeah, it's a really nice work. I just have few simple questions. Like the thing is, right now I'm coming across lots of work in terahertz imaging where room temperature QCLs are being used. So what is the a prospect of a room temperature QCL in terahertz communication.
Yeah, so to answer your question, so I didn't talk much about QCLs. So we have a big project in the UK led by University of Leeds and UCL in London, where they're trying to do wireless communication using QCLs. They're not room temperature, they're cooled by a Peltier cooler, yes, an on-chip cooler. So they work at 4 Kelvin or something. Yeah, but this is future technology. It's not yet demonstrated. So in terms of imaging in general, so imaging, as I said in, I think, my second slide, it's one of the biggest areas of research. We have actually many SMEs who are doing imaging work. And traditionally, they used QCLs, but today, they're using IMPA diodes at around 100 gigahertz up to 300 gigahertz. They're used as sources for QCLs. So these are room temperature electronic sources. As a research group, we've had a number of inquiries from many companies working in imaging who would like to use the RTD as a room temperature source for imaging. So imaging, terahertz cameras, if you check out INO in Canada, they're a research organization. They do a lot of work on terahertz imaging. So traditionally, QCL was the source which was used to do imaging. Yeah, but QCL, the quantum cascade laser, it requires, it works only at cryo temperatures. The modern variant will work at 4K. So it has its limitations, but that was the basic technology for imaging. Yeah, but today this area is expanding quite rapidly. So IMPA diodes are being used, RTDs are being considered. For local imaging, even the transistor CMOS-based imagers, a few people have done this at MIT. There's a group of Professor Han who are developing something in this space.
Devices with limitations regarding when detection of phases. So how this phase it can be information can be utilized because this information
I'm not so sure that I understand clearly what you are asking. Are you asking about sensing of gases, or could you just ask your question again? I don't think I caught you clearly.
Yeah. So is it the sensors, sorry, detectors what we are using for the terahertz communication links? So are it compatible for the phase detection too? Not only the amplitude or yeah, because the phase information for communication is a big critical thing.
Yeah, that's correct. I'll answer your question in a slightly long way. So if you're doing simple on-off keying or ASK, you only need an envelope detector because all the information is in the amplitude. And so for simple links, we don't need phase information. So we use a short barrier diode, or we use an RTD as a nonlinear device, and it can just get the amplitude information because we've encoded the information only in amplitude. Yeah, but if we want phase information, then we can use the RTD as a coherent receiver. So actually the RTD oscillator, when the RF signal comes, it can lock onto the oscillator signal. So this has been demonstrated in the Nagatsuma group. We've done the same in W-band here in Glasgow. So we can use the RTD as a coherent receiver, and so it works as a local oscillator and mix at the same time. And so we can get phase information, but this is a very new area of research. So, so for the wireless links based on RTDs, at the moment we just worry about amplitude information, or in specialized cases, we can also use a coherent detector. So the RTD, where the RTD is used as a transmitter and a receiver, we can also have this as coherent. Traditional links use OFDM, and all this for all this phase is important. Having said that, on the receive side, the complexity that you require to recover the signal, the energy that you require to recover the signal is not insignificant. And so the future terahertz technology, the way it's going to look like, but we have to worry about energy. It's not just about technical efficiency. We have to worry about energy and simplicity of the system. So because we work at terahertz at high enough frequency, we could use simpler transmission system and just maybe not worry about phase and have a simple but high throughput link. But at the receiver, it's quite easy to detect with a Schottky barrier diode or an nonlinear RTD. Or if we want, we could go into coherent mode with a coherent RTD detector. So the answer is not straightforward, but this is an evolving area.
Thank you. Just last one. So it's like think of a optical communication link. So we always think of a fiber.
Yes.
So can there be a in between for terahertz complex interplay between some terahertz fibers? If someday can be in the market, can they be like we are having wireless communication in terahertz links with maybe aiming for 100 meters, but in
Yes.
the real communications will go kilometers, even go beyond hundreds of thousands of kilometers. So in that case, what is the status for a terahertz waveguide or a terahertz fiber?
And I think fiber, we keep it as it is, the standard optical fiber, undersea for long range links. That is the area of the standard optical fiber. The terahertz links, they're likely to be wireless. The range is likely to be hundreds of meters, 100 meter up to a kilometer. But this is last mile, as they say. So the terahertz link is your link between your home, your institution, to your optical fiber network. So the backbone is likely to remain optical fiber. Your home is likely to remain mobile with your phone and everything, but in between you need a very high-speed link, and this is where terahertz comes in.
Thank you.
And in places like data centers, this is a fixed, everything is fixed, so you can have fixed wireless links. Out of your home to the base station, you could have a terahertz wireless link. This is also essentially a fixed link. So terahertz will not replace optical fiber. I don't believe so. But the optical fiber will always remain for long range links. And then out of the optical fiber for hundreds of meters to a kilometer max, you'll have the terahertz wireless link, because it gives you the flexibility of having high data rate, but also the flexibility of it being wireless. Yeah, but it also enables new applications like terahertz radar for autonomous driving. It's not only the high data transmission, but the terahertz link can also be used for imaging. So a joint communication and sensing, or communication and imaging.
Okay, any more questions? Okay, let us give a big round of applause for Professor Edward Versighe.
Thank you very much, guys. And thank you, Swagata, for inviting me again to give a talk. I'm sure you are there listening somewhere.
Yes, I'm here.
Hope we'll see you in Glasgow sometime soon.
I'm here only. Yeah, okay. Thanks for being here. Bye.
Okay, everyone take care and see you soon. Yeah, bye. Bye.
You want wall lights, huh? You want all, huh? Wall. Only face, only white is remaining all black.
Good evening, everyone, distinguished guests, faculties, staff, and students. A very warm welcome to all of you to the cultural program being organized by SRM University, Andhra Pradesh on the occasion of the International Conference on Electronic and Photonic Integrated Circuits, EPIC 2022. Hope this day ends on a note that would always bring wonderful memories of the performances brought to you by the students of SRM AP. Put on your fun shoes and let's dive into the performances now.
Dance, in my opinion, is one of the holiest art forms. It entails far more than simply shaking your hands and legs. Dance allows you to express your thoughts and emotions without having to speak. Dancers were once thought to be God's own messengers because they could convey a wide range of emotions and narrate history or a story in a much more engaging way. Music plays an important role in bringing this art form to life, and it is an integral part of the dance. So get ready for a whirlwind of joy and excitement. Without further ado, let us prepare for a spectacular start to the function.
While writing the Natya Shastra, our ancient scholar Bharat Muni might not have thought that the rasa and bhava of his writing will last for millennia. Our next performance is a tiny step to continue his legacy. We're going to start our program with a performance on the Lord Shiva's song Bharata Vedamuga with the hoop, pots, and fire. Let's welcome Akshita from BSc Psychology for her performance.
Shiva ఆదిశక్తి ఆకృతి జాత పార్వతి ప్రాణమైన ప్రాణభగుని కిందకు చేరుతున్నది గుడికి ప్రవహించేలా కరువు గుడిని తలపించేలా దేవా భరత వేదముగ నిరత నాట్యముగ కవిము పదమిదేశ శివని వేదనగ మణి వేదనగ కంకిం పరమేశ వ్యోమకేశని హిమగిరి వరసత ప్రేమ పాశమున పిలువంగా యోగి వేషమి మనసుల కలకద రాగవేషమైన ప్రేమవేషమి భేద పదాహతు దైత్య శోషణము జరుపంగా భోగి భూష భువనాళిని నిలుపవ అభయ ముద్రలోనా చమకముల నాదాన చమకముల యోగాన
Wasn't that a mind-blowing performance? A huge round of applause for Akshita. Music is a pleasant sound which is a combination of melodies and harmony and which soothes you. Music may also refer to the art of composing such pleasant sounds with the help of various musical instruments. We have Rajalakshmi, Vijay Lakshmi, Meghna and Kirti who are here with a mashup of Telugu songs.
sir. కెమెరా కాదు పిల్లలకి జస్ట్ నేను వాళ్ళు కనపడితే చాలు నేను వాళ్ళకి కంపెనీ ఇవ్వడం నాదేం లేదు జస్ట్ ఒక 5 minutes
Check.
నేను నువ్వంటూ వేరే ఉన్నా నాకీ వేళ నీలో నేనున్నట్టుగా అనిపిస్తూ ఉందే వింతగా నా కోసం నేనే వెతికేంతగా నువ్వే లేకుంటే ఏమవుతానో నీ స్నేహాన్ని కావాలంటున్నానుగా కాదంటే నా మీదొట్టుగా ఏమైనా చేస్తా నమ్మేట్టుగా ఒకసారి చూసినే వలచాలా నేను వీడిపోదు ఏ మగువైనా ప్రేమిస్తానే ఎంతో గాఢంగా నా ప్రేమ లోతులో మునిగాక నువ్వు పైకి తేలవే సులభంగా ప్రాణాలైనా ఇస్తా వేగంగా ఓ, నేను నువ్వంటూ వేరే ఉన్నా నాకీ వేళ నీలో నేనున్నట్టుగా అనిపిస్తూ ఉందే వింతగా నా కోసం నేనే వెతికేంతగా నిజాయితీ ఉన్నోడిని నిజాలనే అనోడిని అబద్ధమే రచించని అబ్బాయిని ఒకే ఒక మంచోడిని రొమాన్స్ లో పిచ్చోడిని పర్లేదులే ఒప్పేసుకో సరేనని ముసుగేసుకోదు ఏనాడు నా మనసే ఓ బాబా నన్ను నన్నుగానే చూపిస్తూ కాదన్నా అనిపిస్తూ ఉందే వింతగా నా కోసం నేనే వెతికేంతగా దేవత తనే ఒక దేవత ముఖాముఖి అందమే చూడగా ఆయువే చాలుగా గాలిలో తనే కదా పరిమళం చలి సఖి అనుమతే అడగక పువ్వులే పూయగా జై జై చెలిమిని జై అంటూ హృదయం పలికినదే సై సై సరసకు సై అంటూ పాదం కదిలినదే మనమే నీతో ఎత్తుకెళ్ళావే చిరు 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 చిరుపై కురిసావే మరుక్షరముల మరుగైపోయావే నువ్వే ప్రేమ బాణం నువ్వే ప్రేమ కోలం పువ్వై నవ్వగానే కాలేరెను ప్రాణం చై చై చెలిమిని చై అంటూ హృదయం పలికినదే సై సై సరసకు సై అంటూ పాదం కదిలినదే ఎదనే నీతో ఎత్తుకెళ్ళావే అందం దారి మళ్ళిందా భూమిపైకే చేరుకున్నదా లేకుంటే చెక్కి ఉంటారా అచ్చు నీలా శిల్ప సంపద జగత్తు చూడని మహత్తు నీవెలే నీ నవ్వు తాకి తరించి తపస్సిలా నీ చేతులన్నీ తలొంచే దుశాలానివా విసుక్కునే వెలాడు చందమామని నువ్వుంటే నా పనేనలే ఈ నేలకే దిగేలు కోటి దారలే నీ కన్న వెన్నెలేనలే శీతాకాలం సూర్యులాగా కొంచెం కొంచెం చూస్తావే సూటిగా దాటే చూపులతోటి గుచ్చేయచ్చుగా వేసవికాలం గాలుల్లాగా కొంచెం కొంచెం వీస్తావే కరువే తుంటరి తుఫానులాగా చుట్టేయచ్చుగా వర్షాకాలం మబ్బుల్లాగా కొంచెం వస్తావే సాయంకాలం సరదాలాగా మొత్తం కాలాలే కనులకు కలలు వయసుకి వలలు విసిరిన మగువా మనసుకి దొరకవి శీతాకాలం సూర్యుడిలాగా కొంచెం కొంచెం చూస్తావే సూటిగా తాగే చూపులతోటి గుచ్చేయచ్చుగా వేసవికాలం గాలుల్లాగా కొంచెం కొంచెం వీస్తావే కరువే తుంటరి తుఫానులాగా చుట్టేయచ్చుగా తెలుసుకోవా అది ఎన్నాలి వెయిటింగ్ అనేలా తరుముతోంది మది తెలిసెనే నానువే నానువు కాదని తెలిసెనే నీనెనే నీనెను కాదని నాలో సగం ఇక లేదు అని ఆ నిన్నలే నన్ను చూసి నవ్వే మరునాడు అన్నదే ఇక ఉండబోదని అన్నది క్షణం నా ప్రాణం నువ్వే నా గుండె నువ్వే గుండెల్లో మండే నిప్పై చేరవే తెలిసెనే నానువే నానువు కాదని తెలిసెనే నీనవే నీనెను కాదని Thank you. Thank you.
It was amazing listening to all these. It was amazing listening to all these classic songs all in one go. Next, we have Chaitanya and the group. Dance is an extremely passionate art performed to express one's love for music. It is a form of art, the way to express and bring happiness and to express your feelings, be more fit, or just feel about yourself within. Let me introduce you to the energetic performance of the evening. Join your hands and welcome Chaitanya and Co.
The club isn't the best place to find the lovers, at the bar is where I go. Me and my friends sat at the table doing shots, tripping fast and then we talk slow. Come over and start up a conversation with just me, and trust me, I'll give it a chance. Now take my hand, stop it, and the man on the jukebox, and then we start to dance. And now I'm singing like, girl, you know I want your love. Your love was handmade for somebody like me. Come on now, follow my lead. I may be crazy, don't mind me. Say, boy, let's not talk too much. Grab on my waist and put that body on me. Come on now, follow my lead. Come on now, follow my lead. I'm in love with the shape of you. We push and pull like a magnet do. Although my heart is falling too. I'm in love with your body. Last night you were in my room, and now my bed sheets smell like you. Every day discovering something brand new. Well, I'm in love with your body. 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 Did you see my bag? Did you see my bag? Drop it in the bag, you gotta get. How you think about that? How you think about that? Wait until the bus are having it. And if I can be nice, I'm so fire, so na bumso. 모두 한꺼번에 너만 총총. How you there? How you there? How you there? 마지막 인사야 말도 없어 사과도 하지만 볼 일 없어 마지막 인사야 말도 없어 사과도 하지만 사과도 꼴라지 우린 다 사마치 콜라지 너희가 막 깜짝 놀라지 폼나지 폼나지 ప్రయాణమై యుగాలుగా సాగిన ఓ కాలమా ఆగుమా కనీ నీ చింత నుండిగా తరమగే Reyne, kalakit paru style, sikpara mayile, iba okay na agitule. Reyne, Reyne, kalakit paru style, sikpara mayile, iba okay na agitule. Šuplji ne gresu.
బీట్ బాగుంది కానీ బాస్ కి మాస్ అయితే బాగుంటుంది కదా. శంకర్ దాదా శంకర్ దాదా శంకర్ దాదా MBBS 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 ఏదం బేటా పుల్లము పంచాకుట్ట పుల్లము.
సార్ ఒక్కసారి మీరు ఆ గంగూలీ సందులో గజ్జల గోల ఆ స్టెప్ వేస్తే ఈ సెట్ గోల సార్.
రామ చిలకమ్మ ప్రేమ మొలకమ్మ రాధమ్మ గంగూలీ సందులో గజ్జల గోల బెంగాలీ చిందులో మిర్చి మసాలా అరే వేడెక్కి ఉన్నది వెన్నెల మాల వేడెక్కి దిగదురా మేఘమాల రామ చిలకమ్మ ప్రేమ మొలకమ్మ రాధమ్మ పాలే తెలుపన్న నీళ్ళే నలుపన్న
has been practicing beatboxing for 2 to 3 years. Beatboxing is a form of vocal percussion primarily involving the art of mimicking drum machines using one's mouth, lips, tongue, and voice. It may also involve vocal imitation of turntablism and other musical instruments. Let's give it up to Abhishek Jha and invigorating beatboxing.
I know. Engage. Wow.
Thank you, guys.
Wow, that was over the top, and I think I would just make fool of myself if I tried doing this. Next, there's a technique that can be used on any stringed instrument, but which is most commonly used on guitar. This technique involves a string being fretted and set into vibration as part of a single motion. This technique is called tapping, and to display this bewildering technique, we have Tanuj Sarkar and his guitar with us. Let's welcome him on the stage.
As amazing as it was, I cannot stop myself from being amazed at it. Thank you, Tanuj. Next up, we have guitar special finger style Suprabala Das. Finger style guitar is the technique of playing the guitar or bass guitar by plugging the strings directly with the fingertips, fingernails, or picks attached to fingers, as opposed to flat picking. This enhances the musical experience since it sounds very dynamic. To display this technique, we have Suprabala who will be playing Zara Zara, Let Me Down Slowly, and Rapta on a guitar.
This is two. This is nothing. Successful dynamic. Three.
Plucking them as beautifully as the songs. It was truly amazing. Thank you, Suprabala. Remember the 90s where Telugu fusion was at its peak? They are still so fresh and you'll be ready to tap your feet within the first set of beats. Let's welcome Aditya to take us on a nostalgic musical trip.
అందమైన ప్రేమ రాణి చెయ్యి తగిలితే సత్తురేకు కూడా స్వర్ణమేలే. అందమైన ప్రేమ రాణి లేత బుగ్గపై చిన్న ముడిమ కూడా దివ్యమేలే. చెమట నీరే మంచి గంధం ఓరి తిప్పే మోక్ష మార్గం. వయసులా సంగీతమే భూమికే భూపాళమే. వయసులా సంగీతమే భూమికే భూపాళమే. பத்தமாகும் சின்ன பருமை மோட்சமாகும். காதலின் சங்கீதமே பூமியின் புபாலமே. காதலின் சங்கீதமே பூமியின் புபாலமே. Sani sa, sari gani sani sani pani sani sa, saga ma ma gari sa sani sa, sani sani pani sani sa, saga ma gari sa. అందమైన ప్రేమ రాణి ఉత్తరాలలో పిచ్చి రాతలైన కవితలోనులే. ప్రేమకెప్పుడు మనసులో చేరితే కోటి రూపాయి పీచు మిఠాయి అర్ధ రూపాయి. నువ్వు కొరికి ఇస్తే దాని విలువ 1,00,000 రూపాయలు. సాని సా సాని పాని సాని సా సగ మా గరి సా సాని సా సాని పాని సాని సాని సా సగ మా గరి సా.
Moving on, Deepika and Priyanka rocked the silver screen and made history. Our girls, Sabri and Shahnaz, are certainly not short of that. Let's welcome them to set the stage on fire. They are going to make you guys crazy with their signature steps.
चाहे कोसा है बारिश का बोसा है, चाहे कोसा है बारिश का बोसा है, मीठा है कोसा है बारिश का बोसा है, कोसा है कोसा है बारिश का बोसा है। चल 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 बहता चल नारे 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 ela, 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 ma. Ela, 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 ma. Hola, 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 ma. Hola, 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 ma. मेरा जमशा की नया यार वे चौकीदा था बदली के बाजार में मैं तो झुमका लगा के शर्मा गई बोली सर पैसा देके मैं आ गई मुझको नचा के नाच ले आजा नाच ले मेरे यार तू नच ले झनक 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 नच ले मेरे यार तू नच ले अब तो लुटा है बाजार सबको बुला के नच ले आजा नच ले मेरे यार तू नच ले झनक 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 नच ले मेरे यार तू नच ले अब तो लुटा है बाजार
Wow, that was really an energetic performance. You have set the stage on fire. Keyboard instrument is a musical instrument played using a keyboard or row of levers which are pressed by the fingers. The most common of these are piano, organ, and various electronic keyboards, including synthesizers. Let's welcome Dave for his performance on the stage.
That was a beautiful performance from Dev. Thank you so much. Now, moving and grooving to the tunes of Indian music is a whole lot of fun. This dance brings about the untamed beast in you that is willing to take dance expression to new heights. The catchy rhythmic structure of these songs, accompanied by the quirky lyrics, make Indian songs the perfect dance anthems. Let's welcome Harshita and Navya for a mashup performance.
नदी से मैंने पूछा इठला के जल्दी कहा दूर तेरे भी का घर है बल खा के जल्दी कहा थोड़ा वो घबराई थोड़ा सा शर्माई पूछी यहाँ से वहाँ सागर से मिलने का उसका तो सपना था मेरे ही तरह पिया हवा के झोंके आज मौसम से टूट गए गुलों की शोखियाँ जो भर गिरा के लूट गए बदल रही है आज जिंदगी की चाल जरा इसी बहाने क्यों ना मैं भी दिल का हाल जरा सवार टपके आवागी तड़के जावागी चुप नजरों पे साथ हो गई मेरी हद हो गई डिस्टेंस से भी ढल हो गई अर्जुन से भी बात हुई डिस्टेंस से भी मेरी अभी के क्लोज है तेरे हाथ में टच करना कभी मुझे नहीं हटती Bailame como si fuera la última vez y enséñame ese pasito que no sé, un besito bien suavecito, bebé. Taqui, 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 taqui. Bailame como si fuera la última vez y enséñame ese pasito que no sé, un besito bien suavecito, bebé. Taqui, 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 taqui. पानी ना भरवा मेरे मुन्ना बात सुनना, ये जवानी नहीं कोई खिलौना। पहन जाओ सीख के आओ, प्यास नैनों की प्यास को बुझाना। दबी 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 दबी
पुरानी दिल्ली में छोड़ानी निशानी दिल्ली में, बल्ली माला से बड़ी बेतलक तेरी मेरी कहानी दिल्ली में। ओ कमली कमली वाले का याद करके तेरे काले काले नैनों की कसम खाते हैं। मेरी जान उड़ा दो बजा दे, तेरी खत्म के नाम की खुशबू है, तेरा नाम भी गर्मी यकीन है। तेरी खत्म के नाम की खुशबू है, तेरा नाम भी गर्मी यकीन है।
तेरी ठोकर मन में वो है, मेरी भी धड़कन में वो है, चूड़ी की छन छन में वो है, छन 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 की खन खन में वो है, चूड़ी की छन छन में वो है, कंगन की खन खन में वो है। बात के देख बड़ा बहन के मैं पाए, छोड़ के नाचूंगी, घूम के नाचूंगी, डोला रे डोला रे डोला रे डोला, डोला रे डोला भंडोला रे डोला, डोला रे डोला रे डोला रे डोला, डोला रे डोला भंडोला रे डोला।
Every time I wanna see my girl. మధురీశ్వరివే మధురాసల మంజరివే మంత్రాక్షరివే మధు శ్వాసల అంజలివే తేనెవి నువ్వో తేనెటిగవో తేలేదెలన వెన్నెల నువ్వో వెండి మట్టవో తాకే తెలుసుకోనా చక్కనైన మల్లికవా ఏ చిక్కులు పెట్టే అల్లికవా పోలికల బస్సు బాలికల చురకట్టుల చూపులున్నా మల్లీశ్వరివే మధురాసల మంజరివే మంత్రాక్షరివే మగ శ్వాసల అంజలివే
Nah,
Now, that was an electrifying performance. Thank you, Harshda and Navya. Now, since the English is not a tonal language and is very permissive when referring to stress and prosody, it is much simpler with its precise vowels and stresses. We have Vijay Lakshmi, Nafisa, and Dhruv singing Lovely, Dancing on My Own, and I Want It That Way.
Check, check.
Throw the phone away, but you never go away. So I guess I gotta stay now. Oh, I hope someday I'll make it out of here, even if it takes or 100 years. Need a place to looking for a better place. Something's on my mind, always in my headspace. Oh, I hope someday I'll get up here, even if it takes need a place to go. Skin and bones, hello, welcome home.
Check mic test. Somebody said you got a new friend, but does he love you better than I can? There's a big black sky over my town. I know where you're at, I bet he's around. I'm spinning around in circles, and I'm in the corner watching you kissing. Oh, oh. And I'm right over here. Why can't you see me? Oh, oh. And I'm giving it my all. I'm not the guy you're taking home. Ooh, and I keep dancing on my own. So far away, but still so near. The lights come on, the music dies. Don't see, and I just came to say goodbye. And I'm in the corner watching you kiss him. Oh, oh. And I'm giving it my all. I'm not the guy you're taking home. Ooh, and I keep dancing on my own. So far away, but still so near. Lights come on, the music dies, but you don't see me standing here. Thank you. Check, 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 check. Check, check. Mic testing, check. Check, mic testing. Volume. Check, check, mic testing. Check. Check, mic testing. Check. Check, mic testing. Volume. Check, mic testing. Volume. Check. Check, mic testing. You are my fire, the one desire, believe when I say I want it that way. But we are two worlds apart. Get these to your heart and you say that I want it that way. Wanting nothing but a heartache. Wanting nothing but a music. I never wanted you say I want it that way. Your fire, your desires. I know it's too late, but I want it that way. We wanted nothing but a heartache. Wanted nothing but a mistake. I never wanted you say I want it that way.
I can see that we've fallen apart from the way that it used to be. No matter the distance, I want you to know that deep down inside of me,
My fire, the one desire, you
don't wanna hear you
I Want It That Way is iconic and amazing. Reminds me of Jake Peralta and his beautiful singing. Now, for the next group, they got the moves. They got the attitude and they have rocked the stage before too. Well guys, don't go crazy on the next performance as this group is coming up with all-time sensational strips.
हाँ musicians अटलमा Let's go on the Sweet as that out. దీపాలన్నీ ఆర్పేశాక అందరి బుద్ధి
Now, that's what we call an electrifying performance. Thank you so much. Moving on, Bollywood music is a blanket term for Indian music, but truly only refers to Hindi music made for Bollywood movies. This means that the songs are made for different situations within the storyline, and they often convey different emotions. Now, we have few Hindi songs that are being sung by Aditya, Adya, Napisa, Kirti, and Simon Mishra.
Hello.
Yeah, you take the
Check, check. Hello. अच्छा चलता हूँ दुआओं में याद रखना, मेरे जिक्र का जुबां पे स्वाद रखना। अच्छा चलता हूँ दुआओं में याद रखना, मेरे जिक्र का जुबां पे स्वाद रखना। दिल के संदूकों में मेरे अच्छे काम रखना, चिट्ठी तारों में भी मेरा तू सलाम रखना। अंधेरा तेरा मैंने ले लिया मेरा, उजला सितारा तेरे नाम किया। चन्ना मेरे या मेरे या, चन्ना मेरे या मेरे या, चन्ना मेरे या मेरे या बेलिया। ओ पिया चन्ना मेरे या मेरे या, चन्ना मेरे या मेरे या, चन्ना मेरे या मेरे या बेलिया। ओ पिया पिया।
मैं रंग शरबतों का,
तू मीठे घाट का पानी। मैं रंग शरबतों का, तू मीठे घाट का पानी। मुझे खुद में घोल दे तो मेरे यार बात बन जानी। रंग शरबतों का, तू मीठे घाट का पानी। मैं रंग शरबतों का, तू मीठे घाट का पानी। टूटी चारपाई वही दूध बरवाई, रास्ता देखे दूधों की मलाई वही मिट्टी की सुराही, रास्ता देखे। बन्नो रे बन्नो मेरी चली ससुराल को, मीठी गुड़धानी ले गई। हाय मीठी गुड़धानी ले गई। रे कबीरा मान जा, रे फकीरा यूं न जा। फकीरा यूं न जा, कैसा तू है निर्मोही, कैसा हर जाइया।
मैं तुमको वरूं, दिन बोली बातें तुमसे करूं। गर तुम साथ हो, अगर तुम साथ हो।
तेरी नजरों में है मेरे सपने, तेरे सपनों में है नाराजी। मुझे लगता है कि लफ्ज़ों की धोखेबाजी। तुम साथ हो या न हो क्या फर्क है। बेदर्द थी जिंदगी, बेदर्द है अगर तुम साथ हो, अगर तुम साथ हो। तू ही तो जन्नत मेरी, तू ही मेरा जुनून, तू ही तो मन्नत मेरी, तू ही दिल का सुकून, तू ही लकीरों की ठंडक, तू ही दिल की है दस्तक, और कुछ ना जानू मैं, बस इतना ही जानू, तुझ में रब दिखता है यारा, मैं क्या करूं, तुझ में रब दिखता है यारा, मैं क्या करूं, सजदे सर झुकता है यारा, मैं क्या करूं, तुझ में रब दिखता है यारा, मैं क्या करूं। कैसी मजबूरी, मैंने नजरों से तुझे छू लिया, कभी तेरी खुशबू, कभी तेरी बातें, बिन मांगे ये जहां पा लिया, तू ही दिल की है रौनक, तू ही जन्नों की दौलत, और कुछ ना जानू, बस इतना ही जानू, तुझ में रब दिखता है यारा, मैं क्या करूं, तुझ में रब दिखता है यारा, मैं क्या करूं, सजदे सर झुकता है यारा, मैं क्या करूं, तुझ में रब दिखता है यारा, मैं क्या करूं। जोड़ी तेरे लिए दिया मैंने खुद को जोड़ूं, दे दिया है तेरी वफा ने मुझको संभाला, सारे गमों से दिल से निकाला, मेरे साथ मेरा है नसीब जुड़ा, तुझे पाके अधूरा ना रहा, ओ क्योंकि तुम ही हो, अब तुम ही हो जिंदगी, अब तुम ही हो चैन भी, मेरा दर्द भी, मेरी आशिकी, अब तुम ही हो, क्योंकि तुम ही हो, अब तुम ही हो जिंदगी, अब तुम ही हो चैन भी, मेरा दर्द भी, मेरी आशिकी, अब तुम ही हो।
Saint Narayana Tirtha was born in Guntur district, Kaza village. He wrote Sri Krishna Leela Tarangi, a bunch of kirtanas belonging to Lord Krishna. Narayana Tirtha wrote from the birth of Sri Krishna to Lukmani Kalyanam in his book. Kuchipudi dancers are very much fascinated to dance on their starangams. Among that, Krishnam Kalayasaki Sundaram was a famous starangam. The special attraction about this performance is dancing on the brass plate. Let us welcome Tejasvi and Preeti to present us with Krishnam Kalayasaki Sundaram.
సుందరం కృష్ణం కలయ సఖి సుందరం బాలకృష్ణం 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 కలయ సఖి సుందరం కృష్ణం కలయ సఖి సుందరం బాలకృష్ణం 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 కలయ సఖి సుందరం కృష్ణం రత విషయ కృష్ణం జగత్ప్రభ విష్ణు సురరిగణ జిష్ణుం సదా బాలకృష్ణం గత విషయ కృష్ణం జగత్ప్రభ విష్ణు సురరిగణ జిష్ణుం సదా బాలకృష్ణం కలయ సఖి సుందరం బాలకృష్ణం కలయ సఖి సుందరం బాలకృష్ణం కలయ సఖి సుందరం శృంగార రసభర సంగీత సాహిత్య 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 గంగాలహరికేల సంగం సదా బాల గంగాలహరికేల సంగం సదా బాలకృష్ణం కలయ సఖి సుందరం బాలకృష్ణం కలయ సఖి సుందరం బాలకృష్ణం కలయ సఖి సుందరం నృత్యంతమిహముహురత్యంతమపరిమిత నృత్యంతమిహముహుర్ అత్యంతమపరిమిత నృత్యంతమిహముహురత్యంతమపరిమిత నృత్యంతమిహముహుర్ అత్యంతమపరిమిత నృత్యంతమిహముహురత్యంతమపరిమిత 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 అత్యంతమపరిమిత నృత్యంతమిహముహురత్యంతమపరిమిత నృత్యంతమిహముహురత్యంతమపరిమిత నృత్యంతమిహముహుర్ అత్యంతమపరిమిత నృత్యంతమిహముహుర్ అత్యంతమపరిమిత అత్యంతమపరిమిత చెండు తచ్చెండు చెట్టు తద్దింది చెండు తరంగ తగిదనతం తత్తన్న చెట్టు తగిదనతం చెండు చెట్టు తరంగ తగిదనతం తగిదనతం తరంగ తగిదనతం 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 తరింగడ తగదరింగడ తగదిగ తరింగడ తగిదనతం 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 తరింగడ తగదరింగడ తగదిగ తరింగడ తగిదనతం తగిదనతం తరింగడ తగదరింగడ తగదిగ తరింగడ
అత్యంతం అత్యంతం పరిమితం అత్యంతం పరిమితం
తరగడతాయి తరగడతా తరగడతా తరగడతాయి తరగడతా తరగడతాయి తరగడతా తరగడతాయి తరగడతా తరగడతాయి తరగడతా తరగడతాయి తరగడతాయి
సత్యం సదా బాలకృష్ణ సఖీ సుందరం బాలకృష్ణం కలయ సఖీ సుందరం బాలకృష్ణం కలయ సఖీ సుందరం అర్థం శిథిలీకృతానాథం శ్రీనారాయణ తీర్థం పరమ పురుషార్థం సదా బాల అర్థం శిథిలీకృతానాథం శ్రీనారాయణ తీర్థం పరమ పురుషార్థం సదా బాలకృష్ణం కలయ సఖీ సుందరం బాలకృష్ణం కలయ సఖీ సుందరం కృష్ణం కలయ సఖీ Krishna Kalaya Sakhi Sundaram Balakrishna Kalaya Sakhi Sundaram Balakrishna Kalaya Sakhi Sundaram Balakrishna Kalaya Sakhi Sundaram Kalaya Sakhi Sundaram Sakhi Sundaram Sakhi Sundaram Sakhi Sundaram
That was a beautiful classical performance. With this, we come to the end of all the performances. I hope all of you enjoyed watching them. Thank you.
This is Navya.
And Bharat, signing out.
A mic issue, ma. What do you do? But we have to do something.
What is the black magic now?